How are you feeling, bana? Tunafanya vitu a bit unconventional. Nah, it's okay. How are you feeling, bana?
I'm good.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while. Yeah, I got sick, but I'm better.
You look sick. What's happening?
No, I got sick and now I'm better.
Okay. Welcome back. Now today we are doing an unconventional episode. We're doing a 2-man. The third man is busy somewhere, but he'll be back for the next one.
Yeah.
An unconventional one. 2-week break. How are you feeling about the 2-week break? Have you found time to refresh yourself? Aside from the feeling under the weather, have you found time to refresh yourself,
Yeah, of course. When you take time out is when you look back at the things and how you can make those things better.
Yeah, how to make these things better. Yeah. Well, I actually felt like we needed it because if I'm being honest, tulikuwa na so many back-to-back weekends. And,
yeah, we are having one hell of a run.
Yeah, especially us as organizers also holding parties and watch parties pale K1 Clubhouse.
Yeah.
We've been having a lot and I kind of felt the burn. It was the burnout. Yeah. I kind of felt the burnout creeping up on me and we definitely needed the 2-week break. But that aside...
Wait, but imagine now the pit members...
The pit crew members and the guys who actually work in Formula 1.
Yes. And now they are traveling from one city to another.
The jet lag, the everything,
the
adapting, the hotel booking. I'm sure it's actually a full-time job.
Yeah, I'm sure they need the rest even more than us.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're happy to continue.
Because if we actually felt it from where we were, now we are not even doing anything extravagant. We're not doing anything grand. Not that I'm downplaying anything we're doing. Yeah. But compared to what they're doing, we're not doing anything grand. Yes. So definitely...
They needed that break,
Yeah, anything event related, organizing and editing and shooting. Listen, the reason, part reason as to why this episode took as long as it did, ni because 1, kulikuwa na some really interesting news, which we'll get into.
Okay.
And 2, kulikuwa na hiyo fatigue. I think we all needed that break. We all needed that 2-week break, and I'm glad we've had it.
Yes.
Now, let's get straight into it. For those joining me, I'm your boy AS, the trouble man himself, Pitboard Discussions admin, joined here by my co-host
Mushiri the Statman.
Now Mushiri the Statman, nimetaja the hot topic that also made us wait so that we can shoot later. What's this hot topic that dropped that made us wait?
It's a Christian Horner thing which came as a surprise by the Were you surprised?
Listen, umenipata flat-footed. You've got me flat-footed. I actually wanted to tell you, please give me your initial reaction when it dropped, because when the news dropped, it's like earth stopped spinning for a bit. Like it was like, you as a Red Bull fan, I really wanted your take as a Red Bull fan, because people here know you're a Red Bull fan.
So first of all, I was very surprised. It's one of those things that you don't see coming. Mm-hmm. So I was very, very, very surprised. And the thing that caught my attention is that he was fired like for immediate effect. Mm-hmm. Like that's like mid-season. It's like mid-season fire. It's not like that one end of the year. Mm-hmm. We'll be ending our nini by the year.
It's not like the Hamilton leaving Mercedes situation.
Yes, this one is at the mid-season, just like the way Red Bull is known for changing drivers mid-season. Mm-hmm. They even decided to do to Horner, which came as a surprise.
Do you think some karma played some part in how he was let go? Because Red Bull are known to let drivers go that early. Do you think it's some sort of karma playing part in it, or it's just the way of things?
I think it's the way of things of Red Bull.
it's just a Red Bull way of life.
But when you look at like the human side part of it, if you're not getting along, if there's something, you plan how you're going to end relationship, and mostly it happens at the end of the year.
Ngoja umesema ati if you're not getting along, you just plan mapema. The Statman anawapea hapa stats. If ukiona relationship things are not getting along well, we're not talking about relationship, we're talking about work relationships. Ukiona vitu haziendi vizuri, things are not looking good, you just plan ahead on how to end it immediately.
Yes.
Okay.
But this one is immediate effect, so it tells you whatever triggered it, it's something that happened recently. Now I was waiting for, he has been fired, now we're waiting for the reason why, but there was no concrete. We
never really got a reason why. We just listen. Red Bull and Christian are parting with. Actually, when I saw the breaking news, because we do most of our reading on Twitter or X, as it was is currently known, and X kuna kwangana a lot of these parody accounts. I knew it was a parody account. In fact, I was so convinced it was a parody account when I saw it. I just scrolled past. continued with my day. Now the phone started ringing and I was like, wait, have you seen what's going on? Have you seen what's going on? What's happening? And people are like, one thing about being a Formula 1 content creator, they expect you to know things.
Yeah.
And they expect you to have answers. Yes. And you're like, and now some people are calling me asking, hey, what is going on? What is happening? What did you see it coming? And I'm like, see what coming? Because I knew it was a parody. And I'm like, see what coming? Ati Christian has gone. Christian has left. And I'm like, left where?
Who called you?
We had Nyash calling me.
Even he called me. And actually, he is the one who informed me about the fire. I did not know until that time. Yeah.
I have a friend of mine by the name of Eric calling me and he was like, yo, what is going on? Because it was a shocker.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he has been Red Bull's only team principal. Red Bull have not had any other team principal in their history.
Yeah.
He was the only one. This was like, say, Sir Alex Ferguson leaving Manchester United back when he did. Yeah. But now he didn't retire. He was fired.
Mid-season.
Mid-season. You have to emphasize on the mid-season.
The mid-season, yeah.
Now listen, I have to ask you a question specifically as a Red Bull fan. What were your thoughts immediately? What were your immediate thoughts? Not even reactions. What were your immediate thoughts? Were you angry? Were you relieved? Because sometimes when somebody leaves, you're relieved. Were you angry?
So you see, the team that won the 23 championship, like most of them are going. Like Akina Jonathan Whitley, Adrian Newey.
Yeah.
As they're leaving, they somehow it is killing your hope slowly. And now when Honor left, you're like, okay, now you need to like start thinking otherwise, because now you brace yourself to be, because the way Red Bull has been performing, it's been performing poorly than
the other top teams.
The other sister car. It's only Max who has been...
You're only talking about Red Bull without Max. So let's talk about Red Bull without Max.
Because people are leaving now.
Aren't they the worst performing team when you remove Max from the equation?
That's the thing. Now, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying the way Red Bull has been going, it has been one hell of a team. It like if Max isn't there, we would have been playing around with Sauber, and Sauber, has been as in the like 3 races, it has performed better than Red Bull.
I think the past 5 races, but okay.
Yeah. So you can see where we are. So with that, and then Horner is leaving now, you're like, okay, now maybe you need to switch your mentality now, thinking about how things are going to go, because for sure, Max is not going to stay there if the car is not performing.
But there were whispers that part of the reason why Horner left is just to keep the Max Verstappen camp happy. Part of the reason why he left, because we know Mercedes have been sniffing around him, and we'll get into that in a bit. Yeah. But part of the reason he left, the speculations are the Verstappen camp wasn't particularly happy with him being in charge. And we know they've been having a war of words with George Verstappen in the past. They've been having like an exchange of words and this and that, which I didn't really fancy. But if I was to ask, do you think him leaving is going to give Red Bull higher chances of retaining Max Verstappen?
Okay, me actually think it's the other way around, because I think I don't think there's any issues between Christian Horner and Max camp, because you see, for Horner or Max, for anybody, all they want to do is win. Okay. Max is a very fast driver. Everybody knows he's going to pull his weight. So it's all about if the other part
driver
of the team
can deliver.
The other than Max, the team, if the team can deliver.
Yeah.
So unless it reached a point whereby now Christian Horner, there's no way he can deliver, which I don't think is true, because that guy has won championship, stayed years without championship, and then went back to winning. Going back the second time is even harder.
He knows the winning formula.
Yes.
Basically, he knows the winning formula of winning in Formula 1. Because he had a stint with, he had a very dominant stint in the early 2010s with Sebastian Vettel, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And he was dominating the sport in ways we hadn't seen until Max Verstappen in the early 2020s.
Yes. You see, somebody who has won twice shows you like the lessons he learned in the first one.
Yeah.
And the new knowledge is gaining is able, because like Toto has won once. Now we are going to wait to
Toto
see.
Toto has only had one streak of winning.
Yes, if he can go back now I'll put like a certain level of respect. That's where I was keeping Honor.
Or if he finds his way back to the top of the mountain,
yes,
you're not going to put some level of respect on Toto's name.
Yeah.
So where we stand right now, you're placing Honor above Toto.
Yes.
In your respect chart.
Just because you have done it again. Just doing it once, you might have gotten things right, but repeating it is way even harder.
Okay.
So when I see him leaving and I know Max is leaving, that's when like my mentality shifts. We need to now like rebuild completely. Because as I said, Max can't stay with a slow car when I'm sure he can get a faster car.
I mean, it's interesting. No, my take as a Ferrari fan, I was shocked. First things first, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted. I lack adjectives to describe what I was feeling deep inside my soul. Because if I'm being completely honest, Christian Horner, I think I've been vocal about it before.
Yeah.
Christian Horner is my favorite team principal on that grid. And it's just because of his grit and wit and how he defends his people.
Yeah.
Like, he gives me that sort of, I will die with my camp, regardless of what happens. He won't throw you under the bus. I've never seen Christian throwing anybody under the bus. And for me, that's a mark of somebody I admire to some degree. I'll be here for the team.
Do you think that exposure has anything to do with the firing? Because me, I don't see any relationship.
I believe that exposure had a lot to do with the firing. I believe immediately that happened, there was a target painted on his back. Listen, the hounds are always coming for him. Listen, this is a shark tank. The sport is a shark tank. The hounds are always out for him. They were gunning for him. I think he just painted a target.
There was a guy who was recently exposed and he resigned.
You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Now,
but personally, me, I don't understand it. I don't understand
when it comes to job security.
How that and your job, like why are you mixing the two?
For those unfamiliar, he's talking about the Coldplay concert. The Coldplay concert. He had a moment. But yeah, I'm talking about job security. When we are talking terms job security, before the news broke that Christian did what he did or allegedly did what he did, he was one of the most secure team principals on that grid. Bar Toto.
Yes.
Because Toto is part team
before
owner.
that first Ninisa.
Yeah. But after that happened, he was one of the shakiest people because now there were talks of he's going to be sacked. He's going to be,
yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand how it shakes. Like, you see, those things that are not related to work. If we decided to dig, every single man, you'll find something. Let's first of all agree. It's like that.
Listen, this is a very sensitive topic you're getting into. But continue.
So it's only that the spotlight was on Honor. Its spotlight could have been on another different person. It could have been a driver. It could have been anybody.
I also think it was the way it was because Honor is one of those guys who has actually made the sport uncomfortable for some of those team principals. That being discussed, what's his future? Because we know he's still CEO, still has some ownership claims to Red Bull. Like he's not CEO, he has some stake at Red Bull.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, he has some stake at Red Bull. So I was looking at his opportunities because I thought it was like a one-way forward type thing that he'd go to another team and say if
there has to be a team based in England.
I don't know. It's a complicated. It's complicated. But if it
even the people of Red Bull who left, they went with team that are in England.
Now let's juggle the options here. Yeah.
Basically, no Ferrari. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think he's going to Ferrari. I actually don't think he's going to Ferrari. But Ferrari might come for him. They could come for him. Like you don't know what Ferrari.
I hear it's always hard for a British man to do well in Ferrari. But continue.
Lewis Hamilton, we're waiting on him. Anyway, but if he's going somewhere, what's his most likely destination? If he is to come back on the grid as a team principal,
I think for me, I would think it's Alpine. I think those places are a bit shaky. They have been firing team principal. You can just fire one more time just to put Christian there. Because there's this old school guy, Flavio, is there. Yeah. And Christian Horner, I'm sure he's on that side of the edge. So maybe they would say like let's ride one out.
I don't think Flavio just came back to let go. So I don't see him going to Alpine. But I know Christian has had some interest in the team.
Yeah.
And I think some purchasing interest or something like that. I don't really know.
So where do you think he might go?
But if I was to say he's going somewhere, I'm seeing Lawrence Stroll make that call.
It's a possibility. If Max is going there, if Max can go there, Christian can go there.
Yeah, listen, I think Red Bull won. I think Red Bull won, yes, have exposed themselves now. I don't think Max Verstappen has a solid reason to say. And I'm not saying he was staying because of Christian Horner. I just think Max Verstappen will be looking at that team, the Red Bull team. And all the OG pillars are gone.
Yeah.
We've had Newey leaving. The guy now at Sauber, Jonathan Whitley leaving.
Yeah, Jonathan Whitley.
And now Christian leaving. Like this was the old guard. And these are the guys who are like at the cornerstone of Red Bull's successes.
Yeah.
Now they've all left, and Max is looking at that team and he's assessing his options. Now I know Mercedes are hot for him.
Yeah.
But Aston Martin can't afford him. I believe they can't afford him. And there's always this rumor, and people want to downplay it. But there's the rumor that exists that, listen, any driver who's won with Adrian Newey at the helm has never won again.
So he has to go back to Papa.
So it's a theory. It's a theory.
Yeah.
If Max wants to win again, he should be considering Aston. And listen, Aston are having new power units for the next after the homologation of rules 2026 and beyond.
They'll be using
Honda. Aston Martin are using Honda power units.
They'll be using Honda.
Now Max Verstappen is a certified winner with the Honda power unit, because Red Bull had the Honda power unit in 2021.
I'm saying if Nani is going there, Christian, definitely it will be a good place for Max.
It will be weird though, because Red Bull fired this guy to try and retain this guy, because Christian and Jos Verstappen, Max's dad, have a fictitious relationship.
Maybe it could be the other way around. It could be that Max is the one who made the decision to go even before the firing. And then now, Horner is there like, okay, maybe not need to wait to the end of the season. We can just go now.
The Pitboard discussions, it's not a what show? It's not a factual show. Yeah. It's a based show. We're not
just looking at it through us because we don't know. It could have been Max who announced early that, you know what, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And Horner said, hey, I'm coming with you. We just
There's
don't
definitely some inside information in there somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, now let's talk about Max Verstappen's destinations. We are talking about Mercedes being hot for him. We were exploring the options of him possibly going to Aston Martin and Christian joining him there later, maybe, because again they can afford him.
Yeah.
But let's talk about his situation at Mercedes. Let's assume he's going to Mercedes. Let's say it's a done deal.
Yeah.
We know a team can't have three drivers.
Let's say Toto has been, whatever he had wanted, he's getting it. Yeah.
A team can't have three drivers. Now, which driver is leaving? Which driver is leaving the camp? Because they've just brought in rookie sensation Kimi Antonelli this season. And he's been doing okay for a rookie. I think he's the best performing rookie so far this season.
But he has the car.
And we have the man who was touted as the next generation of Mercedes in George Russell. Now who's leaving? One has to vacate that seat.
Okay.
There can only be one.
If I look at it from the from the Toto point of view, the way Toto, I think, still has like the kind of loyalty Red Bull shows to drivers is not the same as the Mercedes shows to the drivers. So it is going to be a difficult decision. The only time maybe Toto can make that decision of taking Max is if it is a really good deal, and maybe he finds a place for Kimi. So from what I think, he might retain Russell only if he can find a place for Kimi.
Now,
because I think he cares about the kid so much just to let the kid out there.
Yeah. When the news first broke and people were talking about this, we talked to a lot of Mercedes fans, especially in the group, and they were all for, listen, Kimi was brought in and Kimi is this man's son. Huh? There is absolutely no way he's leaving. George is the one who's leaving. But I'm like, George is Mr. Consistency. I think simply done. Ramen has talked about it before and he was like, George.
Even Motegi.
Yeah, even Motegi. But apparently she was against it. She was like, George is unfortunately leaving. But I fail to see that POV. Because one, Kimi is a rookie.
Yeah.
Now, Max Verstappen's time is running out because Max isn't planning to be in the sport here long. He's recently become a dad.
Yeah.
So he's not planning to be in the sport here for long.
Yeah.
He has a timer on his clock. George also has a timer on his prime, because I'm assuming this is George Russell's prime. Now, Kimi Antonelli is only 17, 18, something like that.
Yeah.
This is a man who can race for the next 10 years.
Kimi still has time.
Kimi still has time.
Yeah.
So if Toto wants another blaze of glory, he has nothing to lose by pairing George and Max. And yes, we know they have a very up and down relationship.
Now what if 2014 repeats itself? Like you have, okay, not 2014, but most of Hamilton and
Rosberg, 2016.
And Rosberg. Yeah, like how they were going at each other.
I mean, it's okay as long as the team are getting the points. I believe,
so long as they win the championship,
that's what I'm talking about, the blaze of glory. If Toto is looking for that one last blaze of glory with Mercedes, I think he's looking at his best possible lineup. And I don't think Toto is the man who's looking at how will they gel. I think he trusts them enough to be professional.
To bring the cars home.
To get the job done.
Yeah, okay. I think they are capable. They have reached that level of maturity now where you can say, like for the kids watching now, they're watching Max as who in future will be their guy.
Now listen, Max is he's already in GOAT talks as one of the greatest talents the sport has ever seen.
Yeah.
But if we look at him going to Mercedes, I know George will be if George is retained, George will be relishing to prove a point.
Yes.
Because he proved a point with Hamilton.
Yes.
Now you guys can go in the comments and talk about Hamilton was being in an experimental car, this, that. But he proved a point.
Every driver wants to win. Every driver wants to win.
Let's not downplay George's accomplishments. Yeah. George proved a point with Hamilton.
Yes.
Whether or not someone was experimenting on which cars it doesn't matter.
Every driver wants to win.
I don't want to say you wiped the floor with him, but he proved a point. He came from a Williams, came to a Mercedes, a team where this guy has been at Mercedes for close to 10 years. Listen, I know statistically Hamilton edged him out, but it's because of that final Abu Dhabi race. But if I'm to be asked, I think George beat Hamilton at Mercedes. Statistically, it isn't true.
Do you know the other thing I would really want to be watching out for? Because when drivers switch teams, it's kind of they usually like take time. Yes. Like Hamilton is the only guy I think who has won championship with 2 teams.
I don't think he's the only guy, but continue.
No, currently.
Yeah, maybe
on the grid.
Maybe. I'm looking at that.
Alonso has only one with Renault.
Yeah, he's the only one.
Yeah, even Vettel only one with Red Bull. Now, so coming and winning, it takes a special kind of driver. Now, if he.
Okay, guys. So on today's episode, we are having a special guest, a very special guest. Some of you might know him, some of you might not. He goes by the name Anton. Do I call you proprietor Anton or do I call you CEO?
I'll listen to anything.
Okay, so proprietor Focused F1. Now, Anton, Focused F1 is a really, really, really big platform because you guys are global. Let me start it off that way. You guys are global. You're a one of a kind platform. You do things that other people don't do. So I lay it up for you and let you set up yourself. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, so Anton is a really big Formula One fan. He's not from around here, but he's decided to grace us with his presence today. So Anton, wing it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I am a big Formula One fan. I've been since I was, I think, around 9-10 years old. I got this. I had this Nintendo 64. I don't know if you all know a Nintendo 64 game console, but I had a F1 game on that. So that's how I got into it myself.
Okay.
And I never really had many people around me that were into Formula One. So when I had a few friends a couple of years back who started to get interested, this was during the 2021 season. I had a couple of friends who started to watch Drive to Survive. They started to watch some of the races. So, I was just thinking to myself, like, how can I get them like really hooked into Formula One so that they also watch the races with me every weekend. And I was just thinking about what kind of prediction, because I play Fantasy Premier League with my friends, so I felt that something in the same but of course with the you have the F1 official fantasy game, which is somewhat similar to FPL, right? But I think that the concept of working with a budget and It works well for the Premier League because you have 20 teams and each team has 25 players, so you have a lot of players to choose from. But of course, the F1 grid is in that respect relatively small. So I felt that was never really going to catch on well with my friends. So I thought that why don't I make something that's slightly more simple, but just as just as fun or even more fun. So that's how I got to the idea of doing something where you just basically predict all the point scoring positions of every race. So let's say P1 until P10. Back in that day, we were still scoring a point for fastest lap, but of course F1 has decided to to call a skip on that one. But I played that. I made that concept and we played it for about half a season in 2022. Went very well. My friends were really excited about it, and they suggested that I find other people also to join. Why would we play only with 4 people if the scoring system works for 4 people? It should work for 100. It should work for 1,000. So I made the Forecast F1 Instagram page and basically asked whoever wanted to join if they wanted to join. So I think from Austria 2022 onward, it was public, and we had, I think, the first public race we had 12 or 11 players, something like that, and from then
this
onward
is
it started.
Austria 2022.
Yeah, Austria 2022 is the first time when we really had other people joining in, and at that time that was mostly still friends or people I had met online. But from there onward, it started growing, and I think at the end of 2022, we had about, I think 80 to 90 to 100 people who were playing each race weekend. So at that point, I figured, okay, I need something a little bit easier to, collecting predictions from 80 people was already getting a little bit difficult. So I made this sort of, it's called jot form, but it's something like Google Sheets, where everybody could list their prediction. But it had issues because it wasn't always clear, and you could duplicate. You could put Hamilton in 2 different places. That it didn't really work that well. So I decided that it would be better to, if it really was to grow larger, I needed to have an application, a phone app. So for 2024, that was the first season that I really had a phone application. So from 2024 onward, I think we really took it to a next level, and from that point onward, it was also easier to find it's if you have a good way of playing the game. Of course, it helps tremendously if you want to find new people to join on. And I think from that moment onward, we really started to lift up. And I think last year we had about around 800 to 1,000 people that played every race weekend, and I think at this point we're around 1,400, 1,500 each race weekend. Since this year, you're able in the app to also create your own group to play against. To really not just play for yourself, but really compete against friends or family or for other communities just like yours to really set up a competition between amongst people. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions just to give our listeners and our viewers some context. Now, yes. Where are you from? Because we know we are not based at the same region. Where are you from?
That's right. No, I'm originally from the Netherlands.
Hey.
And how is the perception there at the Netherlands? No, wait. You said you're originally from the Netherlands. So where are you based currently?
I live in the Dominican Republic, so I am from the Netherlands, but I left the Netherlands in 2010, so that's already 15 years ago. So to really tell you what the perception is in the Netherlands, I think myself growing up, I never, like I mentioned before, I never really felt that there was many people watching Formula One. I had one good friend who was watching it, but other than that, I don't think it was very, very popular. But of course, that recently has changed a lot now with Verstappen being, having been quite dominant for the past few years. Of course, that has definitely stimulated the amount of fans in the Netherlands.
My main question will be, being from the Netherlands and residing at the Dominican Republic here, what are the challenges, or how did you scale up? How did you get to a point whereby we have a group? Because we are based in Nairobi. The Pitboard discussion is originally based in Nairobi, Kenya. How did you find yourself in situations whereby you were pushing to a point whereby you got people or loyalists, let me call them loyalists, because we have loyalists from the Pitboard discussions who regularly play the game. How did you get to a point whereby you were able to sell that concept and people basically assimilated it without any questions asked?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in the end, with this world being quite online, it's, wherever you're based is not so important necessarily if you're able to tap into the right platform. So I mentioned before, mine was mostly Instagram to start with, but I think my main way of growing larger was by finding groups such as yourself, already existing communities. I think in the very beginning, for example, I got into touch with somebody who was also running a WhatsApp group in Lebanon and with Lebanese Formula One fans. So getting into touch with her, I was able to enter into that chat group, and after a couple of people there started playing, it got very, very popular, and before I knew it, I had 80 different people from Lebanon playing the game. So I think for me that was probably the way to be able to grow, by finding other already existing communities where I could just tap into and rather than create it completely by myself, just use that to my advantage that there were already, because there's the amount of, you're taking yourself as an example, being based in Nairobi, but there's of course groups of fans that have chat groups. It's not always easy to find them, but there are tons of these groups, and I'm just supplying a method of people to interact even further and play a competitive game. But other than that, I'm not really in that sense. You need to combine already existing communities rather than creating it all one by yourself. I think for me that has been the main. So I started asking around, to different people if they were in chat groups, and many people are not, but here and there would find like yourself, but also there's a very big community that I'm part of, which is based more in the Central American, like let's say Mexico and Latin American world. And I think by tapping into different groups at the same time, that was the way to really take it to a next level. So in the end, on the one hand, put in the work yourself, but on the other hand, also being dependent on other people spreading the message, because you just need to find a couple of people that are very excited about it, and when they do the work for you, talking about the game and talking about how fun it is, and that's of course the best way to really grow it.
Yeah, so I'm here with my co-host, and I'm sure he would love to ask you a few questions if you're ready.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, it's Moshiri. I just wanted to ask you about, like, as a let's say as a builder of community of Formula One, also as we are building a community of F1, but like in different ways. So maybe I wanted to know, maybe on your side, like the challenges that you get. Do you get any challenges from the members or anything like that?
Yeah, of course. There's always challenges. I think for me personally, looking at what my platform does, I think the biggest challenge is to keep people sticking with it. So it's actually, I would say it's not as hard to find new people to enter the community, but it's for example, I got tons of people that, let's say, download the app and make a profile each race weekend. But I think if I look at the percentage of people that consistently come back and not just play one time, but play several times, I think that percentage I would really like to be much higher. I think there's a very big rate of people that download the app, they play once, and they forget about it, because of course everyone's busy with their own things, and they forget that they even made a prediction, they forget that there's a score, and they don't ever come back. And of course, as a what I would like to do is to make sure that these people really enter the community and go into chat groups and follow you on Instagram and follow you on other platforms or these such things. But that's difficult to really push and to really have much influence on. So I think that for me personally is the biggest struggle. But I guess it's on the other hand, it's also you just sometimes just need to also take a step back and try not to get frustrated with these things and try to just enjoy the things that are the positive things and not dwell too much on the negatives or the things that you struggle with, because of course that's something that goes on in my mind, but other people are just not, they're very happy with being part of the community. So I think that's what I try to tell myself, is to focus more on the positive rather than dwell too much on the negatives.
So if you don't mind me asking, now I know you have the numbers with you, but if you don't mind me asking, now a lot of listeners who are going to listen to this probably aren't still familiar with what you do. So I'll just give them a clue what you do. Then I'll ask you for the numbers. Okay. So for the listeners and the viewers who are watching this, now Anton has just said he's a creator of a popular community, and it's a predicting community. So we have Fantasy Formula One, we have Fantasy Premier League for those who watch football. We know football is a more popular sport. Now we have Anton, who came up with his own fantasy game, and it's gone viral. It's actually viral to some degree, because how many users do you have currently?
Well, the way I count users is by the amount of people that predict every weekend. So I would say that's about 1,500 each weekend. But the total unique players that we've had, let's say for this season alone, has been over 3,500. And in total, it's been, I think we have hit 5,000. So that's more or less where we're at.
So you've had 5,000 people who are aware of the concept of Focused F1. And you have 500 to 1,000 people who are consistently coming back to play the predicting game.
Yes.
I mean, those are good numbers, considering how difficult it is to retain members in the F1 community. Yeah. Those are good numbers, especially since you're growing, because you said you started in 2022, Austria or Australia?
Austria, yeah. So that was, I think, about the 11th Grand Prix of that year. I don't have the 2022 calendar in my head, but it was halfway the season, yeah.
And you started with 12 members, if I'm not wrong. You said you started with 12 members.
Yeah. I think it was 11 or 12 people that predicted for that race. So up until then, we had only been doing it with 4 different people, and then we went to 11, we went to 20 something, and I think at the end of 2022 we had 450 unique players that had made a prediction by then.
Are you familiar with the concept of Christianity?
Of course.
So you basically started out like Jesus. Jesus also had 12 disciples.
Well, those are big shoes to fill, but it's you're right in that sense that it's been a pretty I don't know if exponential is the right word, but it's been a decent growth over the years. I do agree.
Yeah, I do understand where you're coming from. Now, do you people have watch parties where you're from in the Dominican Republic?
Actually, it's a good question. Where I live, well, I sometimes organize my own in that sense that I do enjoy watching Formula One with friends. Although I do set some standards. There need to be people that actually watch the race and not talk too much, because I do like to pay attention. There are watch parties that I know of, but they're mostly in the capital, and I don't live in the capital. I live in the second largest city here. But I do know a couple of I know that the local Applebee's here in Santo Domingo organizes watch parties. So it does exist, yes, but I'd like to think that I create my own, let's say, core group of people that I do like watching with, but not with huge crowds, because it sort of also distracts me a little bit. I do feel that, sometimes if I watch a race and it was too distracting, I watch it again right after, just to make sure that I actually picked up everything.
Now, sidebar for a moment. I'm sure some people are wondering, what teams you support, your favorite drivers, and so on and so forth. If you don't mind us asking, please tell us the teams you support and the drivers you support, and why you support them.
I've actually always been a Williams fan. Well, actually, when I started watching as a young kid, I was actually more a fan of Jordan. But at that time, I think, as a 10-year-old boy, it was more based on the colors of the car rather than anything technical. But these days, if I don't know, I support Williams as a team, and other than that, the drivers that I like to see are the ones that are coming from backgrounds where it's slightly tougher to reach to, let's say, the pinnacle of motorsport. I mean, I like to see a grid where there are people from different sides of the world. So for me, I do like drivers like Tsunoda, drivers I would say actually maybe the Australian ones are coming from probably a pretty well set up karting world as well. But let's say those that have had more challenges to really get to Formula One, so Guan Yu Zhou, these kind of drivers, those are the ones that I like to see do well. And I like a good underdog story, as I do in all other sports too. So I don't necessarily support the let's say best performing drivers, although I do need to say I've been a long-standing Fernando Alonso fan as well. So yeah, a bit of everything in the end. I mean, there's not a single driver that I really dislike. In the end, you need to be in awe of the sport to really and really appreciate the sport as a whole, rather than get too caught up into supporting specific teams or drivers and losing the bigger picture. But that's just the way I look at it. I also understand people that really support specific drivers, but I don't think I'm one of them. Let's take this season. What I would just hope for is that we get a battle until the very last race of the season. And those are the things that I watch for. But I don't necessarily want a specific driver to win the championship. I just want an entertaining competition until the very end.
Okay, I also have to ask you now. You've talked about the teams you supported and how that journey brought you to where you are today, and you're a community builder today. Yes. Yes. I also wanted to ask you for the guys who are curious with what do you do, and say you meet people of similar interests, you find another Formula One person in your own city. Is it a frictious relationship whereby you're not hanging out, or is it a relationship whereby you're happy to meet each other?
So you mean if I walk into somebody else that watches Formula One, that
yes, because
somebody I don't necessarily know, but somebody that I meet in public?
Yes, because I'm assuming the Dominican Republic is still part of the Americas, yeah?
Yes.
And Formula One as a sport has been trying to penetrate the Americas for quite some time now.
Definitely.
So I'm trying to be curious, because I know NASCAR exists on those sides, IndyCar and whatnot. Are they particularly open-minded to the idea of Formula One? Because we've just had the recently released Formula One movie, and it's brought new fans into the space. We already knew DTS brought some new fans into the space, especially in that part of the world. But I'm asking, with the Formula One movie and everything in between, when you go for these watch parties and say you meet maybe interested parties and they're like, oh, Formula One, what's that? Are they open to the idea of joining it? Because we also have that in Kenya. We also have a situation whereby we meet people, they find out about Formula One, then they get invested in it and they like it. So is it the same for you in the Dominican Republic or the Americas? Or do you face some resistance in people accepting it as a sport or as the pinnacle of motorsport?
I think I've been here for the past, I've been here close to 8 years, and I think I can definitely say that interest here is growing as well. I think here motorsport, on the one hand, yes, it's part of the, let's say, the American side of the world, and the Dominican Republic is very much focusing on the US in many aspects of life. But for example, NASCAR is not popular here at all. I think most people that are drawn into Formula One have been drawn into it by Drive to Survive. That has definitely played a very big part in recent growing popularity. And there's a lot of podcasts popping up over here as well, and there's we were just talking about watch parties. I think there's more and more restaurants that are also picking up that people because there's different sports bars and there's different places that show other sports, and I think more and more you find that bars are showing Formula One, and in that sense, popularity is definitely growing. I think people here support. I think there's been, of course, maybe this year slightly less so, but in the past years, I saw a lot of people that wear Formula One merchandise. It's usually either it was always either Lewis Hamilton Mercedes merchandise or Checo Perez Red Bull merchandise. Of course, Checo being from this side of the world, Spanish speaking, that has people can associate, can identify with that. But on the other hand, I think culture here is also very much focused on people support winners. So people support people not gonna I think over here I was surprised to learn, for example, my girlfriend is Dominican, and a couple of her friends were not thrilled at all by the Hulkenberg podium. So for me that was just tough to chew. I mean, for me that was, I think, one of the more emotional moments in this season. But for them it was they didn't feel particularly inspired by it. So that shows a little bit, back markers, underdogs. That's not really people want to support a winner here. So there's a lot of Red Bull Verstappen fans. There's I guess the ones that have been following Formula One for a little bit longer are Lewis Hamilton fans. Of course, Hamilton's father has a Caribbean history as well, so that also somewhat speaks to people's imagination. So to that extent, people support winners rather than let's say the view I described that I personally have. But in the end, I don't mind. I mean, in the end, it's the same with other sports too, right? There's different type of fans, and as long as we all respect one another, I don't particularly mind who other people support, as long as they I find it very nice to see, I go here to a bar or to a restaurant and I see somebody wearing Formula One merchandise. That brings a smile to my face. I don't necessarily start to talk to that person. I might make a comment if it's the waiter, or but it definitely does bring a smile to my face.
I might have a reason as to why they weren't particularly moved by the Hulkenberg podium.
Because of Hamilton losing his streak?
No. Because you said you're from the Dominican, yes?
Yes.
I believe this is the same place where Vin Diesel comes from. They're particularly used to seeing superhero racing action. Right. So they weren't particularly moved by what was going on.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. Well, I also don't want to speak for everyone, of course. I just heard this from a couple of people. I'm pretty sure there was also a lot of people who were actually excited by it, because I mean, come on, how could you not be? But anyway, that's yeah.
Well, Anton, thank you for your time. Do you have any words of encouragement? I'm sorry to sound like a priest.
No. Do you have any questions for us about, let's say, community building?
What I would like to say is that, for me, it's really interesting that the community in Kenya regarding Formula One is so much bigger than at least what I had initially thought. But also, like I was saying, I think we can easily say that, especially this year, I think starting mid-season last year, there was a lot of Kenyan new players joining the prediction game, and it's very interesting to see reactions from people from other sides of the world, or from places where we know that there are a lot of Formula One fans that are very surprised by the fact of the complete swarm of Kenyan players on forecast, and how well you guys perform. I mean, not only the amount of Kenyan players is very large, but if you look at the top 10 or the top 20s results for this season, there's always a Kenyan in the top 10, and I find that very interesting to see, and I find it very nice to interact with your community, but in general, I find it nice that we can have a platform where, you know, it's not only based on the countries where people know that there are a lot of Formula One fans, but it's really, like you were saying in the beginning, you were introducing it as a global platform, and I'm very pleased to see that it also plays out in such a way that there's people, and not only Kenya. I mean, we have a ton of players from Zambia as well. I think both Kenya and Zambia score far better than South Africa, which is, I guess, for people from my side of the world, is what they would imagine. Well, you know, you're going to find Formula One fans in South Africa, but they're very surprised to see the amount of fans that are coming from your region of the world, and that to me is very, very nice to see. And I do enjoy interacting with now I'm saying Kenyan Formula One fans, but with Pitboard community specifically. It's very nice also to see the way that you guys communicate with your fans and your community, and have actually very interesting discussions on Formula One topics. And like we were saying, you know, everybody has different points of view, and it's not always easy to actually nurture that into a constructive conversation. But I think you guys are one of the few that are really actually able to do that and have a very positive vibe in the community. So I enjoy that a lot, and I also enjoyed you guys asking me on the podcast, so that's also very nice. It's nice to be here.
Do you have anybody specifically you'd like to shout out? A couple of people you might know from the group that you'd like to shout out?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, it's interesting. For example, before a lot of people from the Pitboard joined Forecast, I already had a couple of Kenyan players who were sort of the core group of Forecast fans, and one of them I've always been had very nice interaction with is Tracy.
Shout out Tracy. Let me give her a round of applause.
So shout out to Tracy, and I know she also integrated very well into the Pitboard community, and is somebody that I really appreciate a lot. But yeah, other than that, let's not mention people specifically because I might miss out on others. But okay. I think as a whole, like I was saying, just a very positive vibe in your community, and I deeply appreciate that.
Do you know when the first Ferrari engine ilifunguliwa?
First Ferrari engine?
Yes.
No.
It was March 14th, I think 1947 or something like that.
Like the first Ferrari engine?
Yes.
And you know that?
I know that because, again, I'm a Ferrari fan.
Okay.
And it was just the day after I was born, now 14th. I was like, I'm assuming it was 13th. By 13th, it was ready. 14th, ndio alifanya to the officials. But yeah, that's geekdom for you. That's geekdom for you. So now, Silverstone, 75 years. And first things first, I want to say thank you to us who show up K1 because massive turnout, massive vibes.
The best we have ever had?
I think the best we've ever had.
Best we've ever had.
Best we've ever had. But that's beside what we are talking about. We are foreshadowing Spa and Hungary because these are the two races preluding the summer break. Na sasa we were feeling like ni kama tumekuwa kwa summer break.
Yeah.
For those who are feeling pod ni kama imetulia jueni kuna mahali tulikat tukunywe maji ndio tuendelee.
No, him sio yeah. Speak for yourself.
Yeah, nilikuwa njaa mbaya sana. Yeah. So what are we expecting, especially at Spa? Because Spa, number one, 60% chance of rain. Number one. So expect a wet race. Now last year kulikuwa na some things that happened zenye hazikunifurahisha. George Russell one stop. I don't know if you remember that George Russell one stop.
And
it like what people expected the race outcome to be wasn't to be because of that Mercedes one stop.
Yeah.
And he eventually was disqualified. And was it Hamilton who won last year?
Yeah.
And Hamilton won. Yeah. But the two Mercedes showed up last year. Now this year, rain is expected. Now in the British GP tuliona wet race, Hamilton akiflex his muscles. Hamilton flexed his wet race prowess because he had some really clean overtakes. But we also had some strategy error calls. So me hata sijui. But that aside, I want to ask, because we were talking about Christian Horner before the break. And this will be the first time Red Bull will be heading into a race without the team principal they know.
Hey, you see, okay, for Silverstone, the reason why Max took pole because like shed off his wing, saying hapa ni kuenda kwa straight, and that's how he got pole. But as it turned out to be a wet race, you can't hold on to the pole when you don't have downforce, especially when there's rain. So come Spa, I don't expect any difference, especially now we have sector 1 and maybe a bit of sector 2. Kuna sector 3 ambayo kuna straight, lakini sector 2 ndio najua it's no, wait, which is the more technical part, which requires a higher downforce? Is it sector 2 or sector 3?
Silverstone ama Spa?
I think it's sector 2.
Spa ama Silverstone? Spa.
So
downforce na kwa sector 2 actually. Sector 2 ndio kuna kwa ushamaliza the Eau Rouge, then you've started the sector 2, then you now go to that long
sector 2,
straight
sector
before you
2,
go to the Camel.
No, Camel Straight is in sector 1. Nataka kuniambia sector 1 is just
sector 1 inakuanga
just after the hairpin.
Sector 1 inakuanga like the first turn, you know, that first right hander. Then Eau Rouge. Then unaenda sector 1 inaishia pale mbele whereby kuna kongona those that kashikeni yenye inakuanga pale mbele.
Yes, so the Camel Straight is on sector 1.
Yeah. So then sector 2 ndio inaanza na this bend flani inaitwa yeah. But for fun fact, Spa has the best names kwa their corners. They took their time.
Silverstone and Belgium they I think it's not like they took
Spa.
their time is
Belgium kuna a lot of other tracks. So Spa.
Okay.
Specific.
It's not like I think it was the culture then even during Silverstone time, but the tracks that we have now they did not meet that culture of naming corners. So
you say? You don't say?
You come on, like
so
Abu Dhabi, it's a recently the Saudi tracks.
Jeddah,
any Saudi track has a corner that is given a name. Bahrain. These recent tracks did not find that culture of giving
naming corners.
Yeah, naming corners. But those old school tracks, they have.
Statman, that is something I didn't know. That is something I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Okay, I think we had discussed it with Ramen about like doing his
the simulation,
his sim racing, incorporating the names. But we found that it's very few tracks with names.
Okay, no, Spa has names. Albert Park has a name, has some names on its corners. Silverstone has some names on its corners.
Silverstone, yeah.
Brazil.
Monza.
The Senna S's. Tokyo.
Yeah,
Suzuka has some names. Where else? Comments down below. Which other tracks have names? But it's not all tracks.
There isn't ones they I don't know. They don't.
Does Kota have names?
Kota is just has taken the best parts of certain tracks and put it. We have the Suzuka S's.
Canada has some names. World of Champions.
Yeah. I don't think it has another one.
It has something else.
But Kota is a mixture of.
Monza definitely has.
Definitely.
Monza.
Degna 1, Degna 2.
Yeah.
No, Degna 1, Degna 2 is
the Parabolica.
Yes.
Yeah. I have never really sat down to pay attention to this. This is actually interesting F1 law.
Okay. We're talking about Max. Chances of Red Bull. I'm only talking about Max.
Red Bull?
So
that was a really
so
good
if
that was a really good segue though. That was a really good segue.
If it will be a dry race, I don't know if they'll be able to know that during Saturday so that they can set up the car. It's
not a dry race, I can guarantee
they can set up the car. Because if it's a wet race, it's going to be more or less the repeat of what happened in
we're just checking right now. It won't be a dry race, I can guarantee that.
What percent?
Chances of rain
ikiwa 60 million kama 60% to me is like 15%.
Bado ni mapema.
Yeah, and then pia when it rains most of the time it's usually above 80% probability. And then the timing. Unajua pia timing, you can get the prediction of the rain correct, but inyeshe either the rain ends before the
inaanza saa ngapi? Because my weather app is incorporated in Kenyan time. So Kenyan time the race is starting at 4 p.m. So Sunday 4 p.m.
Weangalia wapi Spa? Belgium.
Yeah, I'm looking at Spa, Belgium. So Sunday, it's raining the whole day. It's practically raining the whole day. So, upper.
This is on Sunday.
Yeah.
So
It's a wet race. I'm guaranteeing a wet race.
okay. Okay. So as I said, I don't see much difference because Babu in Silverstone, Max spun. That's why maybe the results did not reflect.
Yeah, you guys had one of the worst races in Silverstone.
Finishing P5 was
not
like
only
a
him
miracle.
P5 because you had Yuki Uko dead last.
Remember Yuki tulisema you're not talking for now.
Nyewe mkisema performance. Okay, sir. I guess
So you're saying Hamilton is Nini will probably achieve good result because it will be raining?
There's also this stat that Hamilton hasn't finished below P4 since he started racing. From 2007 at Spa, he hasn't finished below P4. The only P4s he's had is 2007, the first race, and I think 2021 or something. 2023 hapo. Those are the only times he's had a P4 finish. Other than that, inakwanga above.
Do you know there was a time in Spa, the Spa was the cast track for Hamilton?
What do you mean?
You remember like when you were talking about Charles and Monaco, there was a time like he was cast in Monaco. He was always crashing.
So ngoja, kasi yake ilikuwa kumaliza P2.
No, there was a time Hamilton before I joined Mercedes, Spa was like,
and I'm telling
his
you,
cast track.
his worst finish is a P4.
Because he wasn't finishing the others.
So there are races he wasn't finishing.
there were many races he wasn't finishing.
Okay.
So I'm saying there was a time Spa was like the black sheep of track for Hamilton until he started like winning there. The same thing as what was happening with Charles in Monaco. Yeah.
So he had a carcass the way Leclerc had one in Monaco.
Yeah, it was Spa. And
well, okay, I'm expecting him to have a good performance though this weekend because Ferrari have touted that they're coming up with upgrades. The rear suspension, and it will improve the balance of the car. Because, was it British GP? They had some floor updates or some side updates on the floor. And now we are expecting the much awaited rear suspension.
Wait, is it the upgrades which were termed as what did Brad Pitt call them?
Meant for combat.
I saw a meme of combat updates. I don't know if it is referring to the Ferrari.
Yeah, okay, don't know.
Because Hamilton in Silverstone, he was in combat mode.
Do not set this car up for straight. Set it up for combat in the corner. And unajua umeongelea F1 and there is a thing I have to mention because I don't know, was it Austria? Carlos Sainz pulled the what jamaa alikuwa anaitwaje Brad Pitt. What was Brad Pitt's name in the movie?
I don't know.
Sunny Hayes.
Yes.
He pulled a Sunny Hayes whereby everybody during formation lap wameenda, guys are gone
there.
And he's there the gimmick of so that I'll catch up and my tires will be warmer and I'll pick them up one by one and it's a whole
except thing. He caught fire.
Except
Sainz caught fire, but Brad Pitt didn't.
We have to talk about those Mercedes engine failures.
Was it really? I thought it was the brake overheating because he had to push. He had to push and then go straight to the pits and then stop. Normally, when you push in Formula 1 cars and you come to a stop, you see they come with those blow dries to put there. Or if it is changing tire, you stop for a very short period and then you're moving. If you notice, if you take a lot of time changing the tires, it's on fire. The brakes will catch fire. So Sainz had to push kwa sababu, races start anataka ku start race. So he had to push so that he can be in a position to start. But already the grid was formed. So he had to go to the pit and wait. So I think I don't think it had anything to do with Mercedes.
That's interesting. But
that's the second time he's catching fire in Austria.
Yeah, and again, you won't take me out of that conversation of the Mercedes power units having some problems because Mercedes themselves have been okay. I won't quote them. I won't quote them on this. I've read a couple of tabloids online whereby they're saying McLaren have understood their engines better than them. What? That doesn't make sense. What do you mean? We know your.
Yeah, even me, I don't believe that.
Yeah, but it's true.
I don't think they're extracting more power than Mercedes they are.
No. It's just, for
Unless
for
packaging.
For you to have a brilliant car, all these things have to gel properly. Your power units, your aero, and all these things. So when you build the engine on the power unit, so you shape your
your body
to complement the power units.
Yeah.
You can't really go away from the philosophy. So apparently McLaren have nailed the philosophy to the T.
That's I'm saying, packaging the engine, but it's not like that they are twinkling the engine to give out more power.
No. Just packaging it properly, they've understood it better than Mercedes, who have built the engine. They should know more.
But it all comes down to cooling. That's what I came to realize, is that the cooler your engine is, the better it will run, and less errors you'll get, and you would be like you'll have access to maximum power even after running for a long time. So if you notice, what has been happening is seeing how to cool the engine effectively. Especially the bodywork at the rear, and also those slots they introduced there. And funny enough, McLaren has the least slots for releasing the heat, so you don't know what they are doing.
Well, let's see how it goes. But I really expect a strong showing from them. They won the other race. Was it a 1-2 finish? They've had 2 1-2 finishes, Austria and these guys are long gone. They have something.
So Lando back to back.
I mean,
wins.
Listen, I told you guys, Lando, this guy, he would rather watch the world ban than Oscar win that championship.
Hamilton was very strong in second half of the season. So maybe Lando is trying to...
Okay, listen, I'll say this. Oscar had a really strong start to the season. And Lando had to now finally get his head out of his... You get me? And now he had to concentrate. But all I know is... this is a hill I'm willing to die on. I'm not comparing both drivers. I'm not saying this driver is better than this driver or whatever. All I know is it's just a feeling. It's just a gut feeling. Lando will rather watch the world ban than see Oscar winning that championship ahead of him.
Me, I don't see Lando as that.
Now, I'm not saying he'll sabotage Oscar or anything like that. Whether it's pulling up his socks, whether it's the team intervening, I don't know.
You see something. If I see something,
I see. If somebody is winning that championship this season in a McLaren, it's Lando Norris. That's all I can tell you. How many points are they off each other right now? Points. Where are the points?
I don't know.
The standings.
All I know is that Max is closer to George than he is closer to Lando.
Max tulimwambia number 33 anze kutayarisha. Number 33. So Oscar Piastri has 234 points. Lando has 226 points. That's 8 points.
Yeah, 8 points.
That's 8 points. Now Lando has had a 1-2 finish in Austria and Austria and British GP.
British, yeah, he won back to back.
Now Piastri didn't even win the Canadian GP. Hii ndio waligongana na Lando Norris. But Lando was going to overtake. Lando was faster than him. If Lando would have maintained his composure, maybe we would have been talking about a different situation right now in the championship.
Yeah.
But Pali Lando alishave off points during the triple header. The Monaco, you remember that Monaco triple header? The Monaco, Italy, Spanish triple header.
Actually, you can say since that triple header up to now, he has been getting closer to Oscar.
And in Belgium, I expect him to outperform Oscar again.
I know in Hungary, carrying from was it last year? How good he was in Hungary.
Yeah.
But we're going to see. But I expect Lando to personally, I'm on the Lando horse to win the championship.
I'm not on anybody's horse because you know my reservations on Lando. But I hate to love him. I love to hate him. However I put it, I love to hate the guy. But it's not that I don't like the guy. I'm actually a fan. See, when you hate somebody, there's always a very fine line between love and hate. Yeah. When you hate somebody, you more often admire something about him that you don't like, that maybe pisses you off or something like that.
Yeah.
My hate for Lando or my aggressive what is it called, bashment Orlando in the past wasn't because I didn't believe he was a good driver or whatever. I just believed Zach was hyping him up too much. You know, when somebody's hyping you up too much, the same way with Kimi. I felt Kimi was coming with a lot of
hype around.
Let them chill. Let them chill. You're force feeding me this guy. You know, when somebody's being force fed something, stop force feeding me this guy. Yeah, let me just see for myself. He's actually really dope.
So
That's what happens for me. I want to see it by myself. I don't want the media to tell me he's good. I don't want the people to tell me he's good. If I'm interested, let me see he's good. But I knew he was good.
So what do you think about like Oscar when he said so after his penalty, which the team thought is the team or the McLaren camp thought it was unfair, him saying that if you think it was unfair, let's swap with Lando and race.
Nothing. They weren't fighting words, according to me. Huh? I wouldn't consider them fighting words.
No, yeah. How do you view Oscar as a person after that penalty? That he made that suggestion that, hey, bwana, if you think it was unfair, namekubali it's unfair, let's swap with Lando because that's how things were.
I mean, again, it's a perspective. It's a perspective statement. Like this is how you.
I want to know you from you. You is it's not anybody else.
I didn't read much into it. I just thought it was. I don't want to call it propaganda, but it's more of a propaganda-esque type thing because I think Lando did something similar at early in the season. Was it Lando? Somebody did something similar. Somebody did something similar. George, was it George?
No, this is between teammates now.
See, Nile ali break too instantaneously. He came from 200 miles per hour to 50 miles per hour. Then
so kuna George in Spain where Max was given a penalty.
Yes.
And then there's British where it was now Max who overtook and Oscar was given a penalty.
Because number one, it's against the rules to do that. So but him saying that for his teammate.
Because of the penalty he lost time. The lead, he lost the lead.
I believe Nile too. Like they're just statements.
Heat of the moment.
Yeah, heat of the moment statements. I'm not reading too much into it. Ndio maana I'm not considering them fighting words yet. There is something that will be said. Na nitakuja hapa niseme fighting words zimeanza. Isn't it too boiling temperatures? So if this is water, water has a boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius. Yeah. If this is water, bado tuko 60.
Now, how about see now between the two, they appear to be friendly. They appear to be like we are buddies, nini, and everything. And we said we are waiting for that one incident that
it already happened.
It has already happened.
Yeah.
So you think the friendliness itaenda ikididimia?
It's already out.
It's already out. That's how you see it.
It's no longer that friendliness went out of the window after the Canadian GP. After that incident between Lando and Oscar, that's why it went out of the window. Yes,
so everything that we see is a face.
I'm not saying they have animosity among them.
It's not animosity. It's Formula One rivalry.
They are at a point whereby everybody is concentrating on their own thing. They're not even playing. Okay, they on cameras they can see playing them. Everybody's playing together, but each person's camp is telling this person, "Hey, lock in. You get me?" And
like
the reason I'm saying
time
that,
with the engineers.
And the reason I'm saying that, when did your statement come? The Oscar statement. When did it come? Before or after? Before or after Canada?
So it was during British.
And I know, yes, the time events, it's because it happened after Canada. But if the incident in Canada hadn't happened,
you think
more often
he would not have proposed that?
Yes, he would have kept a cool head. But it's one of those rare moments you see Oscar being like, I'm not saying rattled, but the tree is being shaken. The tree is being the nonchalant gimmick he has of the what do we call it? The region of Kimi Raikkonen. That gimmick ilianza kuonekana you can shake the tree. And that's why I'm telling you, the friendliness is already out of the window.
And you think, you see, always the team as they let the drivers race. You think it's going to continue? They will get a point.
The same way I predicted them crashing at some point. Yeah. They will get a point where team orders will come in. And the team orders, I don't care if Piastri will be ahead in the championship. But if the gap is less than 5 points, Lando is the one benefiting from that team order.
So team orders ni passport.
That's a passport. They'll be like, Lando is the project child. Lando is the project child. Now listen, Piastri is performing, but watakuwa na gap ya 5 points between them. Nobody else can take the championship away from them. When you do your team order, when that team order comes, because it will come at some point down the season.
Me, I don't see it coming.
Okay, wait a minute.
I don't see it coming.
We can wager.
I told you I'm not a gambling. I don't.
But the team order is coming. The same way I told you, they will crash. I knew they would crash because it after a point where one wants to overtake and the other one isn't going to yield. You know when somebody is overtaking because it's clearly faster, but nobody is willing to yield. and they will have contact, and that contact whoever it will affect yeye ndio atakuwa ameanza the war sasa, the psychological warfare ile ya sasa. Okay, fine.
Ile sasa unaona this guy is fumed,
na ndio maana when you watch qualifying it's become rare, it's now a rare concept for Oscar to out qualify Lando. Now Lando has started making sure his car is ahead when they are starting the race. But it will be an interesting showdown, but my man is on Lando Norris to win the championship. So make sure you leave a like, share, subscribing kwanza, subscribing please guys tafadhalini bana, ndugu zanguni, leave a subscribe bana. We need those subscriptions bana. Tunataka tufike point yenye tunaanza kumonetize this stuff. Imagine we are doing all this from our pockets. Nikubaya bana. Tumeparara huku nje bana. Mama economy si mzuri, but if you subscribe,
this is what I always say, we don't charge people for this content. The only charge is just subscribing. That is the only charge.
Subscribe. That's the only thing we need from you, yeah?
That's the only thing.
The only thing. Just subscribe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been your boy Ace, the trouble man himself. Twice as nice, smooth as ice. Never had a bad day in my life. And I've been joined here by
Mushiri the Statman. This has been the Pitboard episode 51. So 51.
51. Okay. Yeah, plus 51. I mean, that's good. 50 plus episodes of this.
Yeah.
Na tukaunt hizo maminisodes hizo zingine.
Yeah.
That's good. Anyway, catch you guys on the next one. Peace.